Hi guys, Cargrash here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a game in an engine that I've used before. Um, what you see in front of you is a program called Construct Classic. There is also a Construct 2 and a Construct 3. 2 and 3 both have free demos that you can toy around in, but they only allow you to uh, use so many events, which is essentially the programming for this engine. Um, Classic, however, uh, lets you use unlimited amounts of events, but is you can only create EXEs with it. I believe you can only export to EXE, and it's kind of outdated to the point where Windows doesn't really like if you were to make a game and then offer it to a buddy to try out, their machine most likely won't. Uh, it will probably give them a red flag that it's a virus of some sort, or look like a bad file of some sort. Um, so this is purely for practicing and kind of getting a feel for what creating a game will be like. And most of the stuff that I'm going to be showing you can be done in both Construct 2 and in Construct 3. If there's any major differences, I will tackle them at another given point in time. But today, um, we're just going to kind of get into it and start with the basics. Like I said, this is Construct Classic, what you're looking at in front of you. I will leave a link to where you can download it. I believe it is Windows only. So, uh, sorry for those of you who are using Linux or the iOS. All right. Let's see here. So once you've started it up, you've downloaded it, you've installed it, and you've started it up. You want to go up to File. You want New. And you want a new DirectX game. Um, some things are kind of blocked off with these other choices. Like if you choose new application, you can't make a sprite in it, which is kind of troublesome. So new DirectX game, and then it will generate a layout. A layout is essentially the map or the overview, or essentially if you were going to make a platformer, your layout is the map that you'd be running across. But we aren't going to be making a platformer. We're not. I'm wanting to start really simple and start with just a choose your own adventure, or CYOA. Um, so first things first, you want to pick a background color. I typically prefer a black background or like a dark color background. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed, but it's usually a lot easier to it's a lot easier on the eyes if the background is darker. Typically, like this dark gray here, black, whatever suits your fancy. You want to pick that as your layout color background, um, and as you can sort of see here, we have the size of it in 64 by 480. So it's not a big screen. If you want to up that to a 720 layout or 1080, go ahead. Right now, I'm just keeping things super simple and just working small scale, because you can always have the program upscale something. I'm not so sure how well it does for downscaling. All right, so we've got our little platform here, and if we go to the event sheet editor, this layout and this event sheet are attached. And if you're ever unsure about that, if we click on layout 1 and we look over here, it says event sheet. layout 1 event. Layout 1 event is the name of the event sheet that it is attached to, and that's what we want. So right now we have a background and nothing else, not a thing. So you want to right click, insert an object, and you'll want to insert the mouse and keyboard for this. We're just going to be using the keyboard, or not the keyboard, the mouse part of it, but you need to insert. It says mouse and keyboard has been added. You see it hasn't really added anything to it, except it did include it over here in our objects. That essentially just allows you to put in events for the mouse and keyboard. Then we insert another thing we want. We don't, as tempting as this button may look, in Construct 2 and in Construct 3 it does interact with the other objects, but in Construct Classic it does not, so you will have to make your own buttons. So we will insert a sprite, and it wants us to make it. So we have a dark gray, so let's just let's make it a slightly, we'll go with a blue, just to make it a little different. Paint bucket tool, fill, and that'll be good. It's gonna say, do you want to save this image? Yes. Now, as you notice, this is ginormous in comparison, and you could use this. You could make 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of big buttons like this. I'm not really a fan of that. Let's see here. Common. You can see the sprite's name and its size, or where it's positioned in its size. So I want something that's 64 height. Boom. Do I want 64? I think so. And then we want to. Basic math is escaping me. Is it 240? No, 256. Duh. I should know this, but I don't. Anyway, here's our sprite, and we want to give it an animation. So over here is more information about the project, or the animation, or the layers. Alright, so sorry about the slight jump there. So back to what I was saying, we want to animate this, and we want to give it a second part to this. So we want to add a frame, and let's see here. We want to change the color ever so slightly. So make it green instead. Oh, that's really bright. Stick to our dark look. Do you want to save changes? Yes. So now it's got 2 modes to it. Unfortunately, it's pre-programmed to automatically start slotting between them, or going back and forth between them. Start animation. We want unfortunately, I don't think we can stop the animation. So if we went to play it right now, where are you? I'm a little rusty, but let's see here. Run this layout. Yeah, we get this. That's not what we want. So you want to go over to our event sheet, because as I've said before, I don't think there's a way to stop it over here, unfortunately, but we can insert event, our system. The system is always there. And we want to, where are you, on start of the layout, when the layout starts, we want to make sure this sprite, we want to pause the, not pause the, we want to set the animation. Animation speed of the animation, frames per second, 0. Actually, no, we want to set animation frame. We want it to start on 1. Finish. Set it to 1. And now, if we run layout, there it is. At the start of the layout, it was set to 1. Because when you have two of them like this, and you start up normally, it just wants to try and show both animations. You don't want that. So the start of the layout, you can set all of anything you need to happen the moment the layout, either the map or in this case the entire game, starts up. You can have things set here, and it doesn't have to just be animations. So the next thing we want is for the mouse and keyboard, if the mouse is over an object, next, we want it to be, if the mouse is over the sprite, we want the sprite to set the animation frame to 2, so it'll become this green whenever the mouse is over it. And then you can set another is mouse over object, so over the sprite, finish. Then invert the condition. If the mouse is not over the sprite, set the sprite animation to 1. Now if we go into it, this kind of lets you set up your buttons and show when they're selected. Now that we've got this set up, this sprite, let's right click, we want to copy, we want to paste a clone, and then you'll left click and see it makes a whole nother sprite but gives it another name. We will set that there. Copy, paste clone. I don't know why it does this every once in a while. Where is rename? Set to sprite 3. And one other neat little feature, snap to moving. This will help make sure they are set kind of along a grid. Then we want copy, paste clone, sprite 4. There we go. Now we've got 4 buttons. Now we need some text. Insert object. I'm going to scroll down. You want to find the text. text, insert. As you can see, it's pretty hard to read, so you'll want to set this to a different color. Just gonna go with white for now. You're gonna need text here. It's probably not perfect, but it's about as close as we need it to be. And we will want to call this main text, or whatever you want to remember as the main text that the player is going to read. So main text. As you can see, it just has text in there. We don't really want anything to show up immediately, so you come in here to the properties and get rid of the text that has in there, and start a layout. We want to have this main text. Now you can either set the text or have it write the text. Write the text gives a nice typewriter effect, where it will slowly write out the text that you've chosen. Otherwise you can set text and it will put it in there immediately. So just to keep these things simple, hello world, finish, and you'll see if we start our project now, you'll see that we didn't set this event for the other sprites. So this is a little jittery, but it immediately put in hello world. The other option would be to, if we delete this action, add a new action, main text, write text, hello world. We can set this to, the speed is always in milliseconds, I believe, so 50 is pretty insubstantial. And then we hit run layout. See, it kind of slowly types in the words. How you want to do that is up to you. I prefer, well, I don't prefer, for now I'm going to use set text. We're just going to do set text to hello world, finish. Another thing that I'm going to do is we're going to make a group. Let's see here, button highlight lights. So I'm going to grab this, put it in there, grab this, put it in there. Nope. But oh boy, could you not? Oh boy. There we go. Then we want to do the same thing here, but for the other sprites. So hold shift, left click both. We should be able to, actually, we want the whole thing, not just, because you can select the internal event and copy that, or the whole line. So we want to copy these, copy, then paste, paste, paste. Why did you separate so weirdly? There we go. For if mouse is over and for if mouse is not over. And we can actually get rid of this because it should, in theory, just read this and know that if mouse is not over, set it to this. Then we can double click here. We do want the first one to be just the regular sprite. Double click this, and we want to change this to sprite 2. And sprite 3. And sprite 4. Sprite 1, sprite 2, sprite 3, sprite 4. You just want to do the same thing here. Sprite 2, sprite 3, and sprite 4. You'll also need to do this within the actions, because see, these actions are all affecting just the first sprite. So sprite 2, make sure this one is also going to hit back, sprite 2, set animation frame 2. What's nice is if you hit back, and double click sprite 3, you'll see it darkens the one that you had already selected before. We want to change it to that. Back, sprite 4, set animation frame to 2, finish. This is going to be a lot of repetition. There's just no way around it. You're bound to run into a bit of repetition with any sort of game creation process. So if it's not one thing, it's another. So set 3, sprite 4. There you go. We set it all up, and now when we run the layout. Now you know when you're highlighting it. Alright, now we've set up buttons. You can get rid of that. Now what I normally do is I make another sprite to hold the all the information that I'm going to be using. So I insert object, make a sprite. We want it right there. It can be any color because it's going to be off the side of this. Now some people are probably going to be very annoyed with this method and would prefer to just create variables. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work all that well just to create the variables. Do you want to save? Yes. You can make global variables, but I don't see the point in making global variables if you're not going to leave the screen, because that is kind of the main point of global variables, is that if you had something that had multiple screens, like a platformer or an adventure game, and you wanted to say get to the side here and then transition to another screen and keep all your variables, that is what global variables are for. So but using private variables or just variables in construct 2 and 3, it just works. It works just as good, at least from what I've seen. We're just going to call this variables. And now we're going to have a variable. Add variables. And we're just going to call this story. And you can have it be a number or text. Number works just fine. You could have it be text if you wanted to label every story element. Here, we'll actually swap it to text because I have something in mind. It starts at a 0. Initial will be a capital X. Then we go to the event sheet here. The starter layout, set the text hello world, and then we can go in here and we want to check, let's see here, variables. Want to compare variable if story is equal to x, value story is equal to x, then we can unfortunately not do anything because we don't have text on these. We also need text on each and every one of these. We want to bold text. And just like we did before, we're going to copy, paste, clone. This is text 2. Probably should have changed the color of them, color of the text. Paste, clone. Paste, clone. Alright. If the variable of story is equal to x, which is what it is, it's what it starts as, then we want to set text to, just going to make this really simple, 1. Set text to 2. Nope. Don't do that. 2. Set text 3. Set text to 4. And now, when we go into the layout, run layout, hello world, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's exactly what we're looking for it to do. The next step is to check which one gets clicked. So you might be thinking, well, how do we check that? So insert. All right, when an object is clicked, let's see here. On click, on object clicked. Pick the object. Sprite 1. We just want either single or double clicked. And you want to do this for all of your sprites. So if you haven't noticed yet, I'm a little scatterbrained when I'm trying to teach something that I've done before. I've toyed around with this more than a little bit, but it's been a little while. I'm a little rusty, even though this is kind of what I went to school for. On a double object clicked, sprite 3. Once again, the engine, it might seem like there's a lot of repetition, which there is. I'm not gonna try and deny it, but there's very little actual coding you have to do, which is the benefit of this. Now, we've got our variable. When variable is equal to x, set these numbers. But now we need something called a sub event. Insert sub event. We just need a blank one. Oh boy. Insert object clicked. I know I just doubled up what we'd already done. But what a sub event is if this is true, it will then go to this and check this. But what we want is to make more sub events. We actually want to keep these. Let's see, insert group. Clicked. We're just going to disable group, because this is going to be essentially just a way for us to have these 4 available at all times. So copy and paste. Nope. Why? There you go. We just hide it away. So if we ever need to copy and make more sub events, which we will, we can just pop that open, copy them, paste them. Alright, so variable value of story is equal to x, set the text. And then on a click, where did sprite 1 disappear to? Sprite 1. On click of sprite 1, we want to set the variable. We go to variables, set variable, private variables, set value. And now this might seem a little confusing at first, but we're gonna put that x back in. It's probably not gonna let me because you'll need to put quotes x, capital X, because we started with a capital X. And since this is the first button, we're going to put a 1. And then we are going to kind of, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to make, oh no, why did you do that? Why is it making duplicates of that? I want copy. Oh. Yeah, kind of annoying. I was for certain that this worked, but apparently that is not the case. But you can, luckily, as you can see here, paste. It'll put a second one of the exact same thing. You can drag it to this one. Go here. We want to put this as a 2 because it's the second button choice, and so on and so forth. And then you're going to want another one of these. You're actually going to need 4 of them. So insert event, if the private variable is equal to x, quotation mark x1. And I think you can see where this is going. You're going to want 1 for x1 and x2, x3, and x4. But right now we're just going to, the other ones, we're not going to do anything with them. If x1, if variable's value of story becomes equal to x1, we want to set main text. We'll put in whatever we want it to say. I'm just going to say, congrats, you clicked the button. Just something stupid so we can see it work. We actually need to click the button. Then when you run layout, hello world. See, nothing's happened, nothing's happened. Left click. Now I need to figure out why that didn't work. Oh. That's probably why. Because it immediately said it did. Why did you go all the way up there? Okay. Let's try that again. There we go. Congrats, you clicked the button. And you see these didn't change. You could have it change these. So if we went in here, X1, congrats, you've clicked the button. Then we can go into text, set the text to, I don't know, pull. Each. Why just root? Just because. Just to show that you can do this. And look, I've changed the words that have come up. It's pretty simple concept. Now we have a new selection of buttons, of things to choose from. And you just do the same thing. You wanna, I don't think it'll let me because you still need to insert sub event. And I have no sub event. Key is down, finish. I'm just going to use this to let me paste those beyond. Bam. We have our 4 choices again. And then we just change this here. And you would set this to another 1. And then remember, this is the after the first choice, so this would be X1, and then this is the second event, the second thing you're choosing from. So see, X is the start of the story, just whatever story you want to. So in case you have multiple stories, you could have X be a story, A be a story. You could however you want to. And then the first number is the first choice that was made. And the second number is the second choice that was made, and so on and so forth. And eventually you will have a string of numbers that kind of leads the player through the events. Because this one would become 1, 3. And this would become 1, 4. And so on and so forth. And eventually you may want to say you don't want a variable to show up, or you're not wanting a button to show up. The easiest way to do that is that like when you're setting this here, say I really didn't want Plum to show up, and I don't want the button to show up. You can go in here. Once this variable x1 once the variable becomes x1, we can go text4. We want to set visible, invisible, and we want to take sprite4. And there is a visibility thing here. I know it. I've used it. Where is it? Set visible. Set visible. Set visible. There we go. Invisible. Bam. And we can. I'll leave it because it'll become invisible. It doesn't really matter. But now if we run layout, click. Oh no! What did I do? What did I break? I broke something. Why did I break something? How did I break something? Why? Why is this? I'm very confused. I'm gonna get rid of that. Run layout. Something fundamentally has broken. What broke? What might be happening is that it's going too fast and it's clicking through to this and it doesn't know what it's doing. Let me see. Which is an issue that can come up. It clicks through really quickly and it doesn't do anything. So I'm gonna add wait, because wait is a very useful command. Then we're going to have it wait, delay, it's in milliseconds again, but you can put just 0, and I believe what it does is it forces the programming to think for like half a second or something. Not half a second, that's really long, but oh, why is everything broken? I'm gonna see if this does anything. Nope. That's the other problem with this program is that sometimes it just doesn't work. Oh boy. What happened? What did I do? No, we're just gonna, and then copy, paste, run, fix. Oh my god. It worked for like half a second. What happened? Here. Do I need to wait here? Wait half a sec. wait an impossible amount of seconds, and change the variable. Set variable. Set it to I know this works. I've done it before. I have a working one. There we go. Okay. Wait has to be introduced. I knew there was a reason I had it in all my other ones. This should work. Oh, thank you. And you want to make sure wait is above. Wait happens because everything happens in a row. So this text is set to 1 before this text 2 is set to 2. But it happens so fast it's almost impossible to notice, or it is impossible to notice unless you're a computer. Oh boy. You set it to 11. Alright, and we want a new group, story. Then you can place all of these events in here. And you just need to, I don't say just need to, but it would be best to, X1, X2, X3, and kind of iteratively work on them. It may also be best to set up a design doc to better visualize where everything's going to go. But I've kind of rambled on and shown how this works for a little while now, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'll try and be a little more coherent next time, but this right here is just a stepping stone, and I'm going to, in the next video, we're gonna get a little more complete with this, because now you know how to put text to a screen and have it, and you've made buttons that will change with these. And oh yeah, I never did show us getting rid of plum, so just because. Boom. Where are you? You horrible. There we go. Invis. Now it should work. Bip. Oh look, there's not an option here. And then if you want to make sure that they can't accidentally click to have this do anything, you just get rid of this here. Then you're good to go for that iteration of the story. Anyway, like I said, this is just going to be the kind of stepping stone into other games, because now that we know how to put text to screen and how to change text when an event happens, you can start doing stuff like dialogue and like telling a story and then letting people play, your platformer. Obviously this is just a 2D engine, but yeah, I will take a little more time to think about this next time, and maybe do a little bit of testing beforehand so I'm not all over the place. But thank you for watching. If you liked what you've seen and would like to see more on Construct Classic and the creative the whole game design creativity side of things, please subscribe and hit the like button. Maybe ring the bell if you want to know when I upload. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.